In the 1960s, Detroit was locked in a horsepower war, and the drag strips became battlegrounds for American muscle. The HEMI-powered Mopars ruled the quarter mile, striking fear into their competitors. But what if I told you that a small, unassuming Mercury Comet was out there eating HEMIs for lunch? That's right. The 427-powered Mercury Comets were some of the most fearsome factory drag cars of the era, and today we're taking a deep dive into their insane performance and legacy. The rise of factory drag racers. By the early 60s, drag racing had exploded in popularity, and the big three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, were all engineering cars specifically for the quarter mile. Chrysler had its legendary 426 HEMI, Chevrolet had its 427-powered ZD11 Biscayne, and Ford was busy developing high-performance Fairlanes and Thunderbolts. But one of Ford's most unexpected weapons came in the form of a lightweight Mercury, the Comet. How Mercury turned the Comet into a HEMI killer. At first glance, the Mercury Comet didn't look like a drag strip monster. It was a compact, unassuming car that started life as an economy model. But in the hands of Ford's racing engineers, it became something much more brutal. Enter the 427 cubic inch V8, one of Ford's most powerful engines. Dropping this monster into a lightweight Comet created a lethal combination. The 427 SOHC Cammer was an engineering masterpiece, featuring single overhead cams, massive dual-quad carburetors, and a brutal power output of over 600 horsepower in race trim. Paired with a lightweight, stripped-down body and a 4-speed manual transmission, the 427-powered Comets could rocket down the quarter mile in the low tens, embarrassing HEMI-powered Dodges and Plymouths in the process. The 1964 AFX Comet, Ford's factory dragster. In 1964, Mercury took things to the next level with the AFX Comet, built specifically for NHRA's factory experimental AFX class. These cars were factory-prepped drag racers with fiberglass body panels, altered wheelbases, and all-out race-tuned 427 FE engines. The result? A sub-3,000-pound rocket ship that could take on the best from Mopar and GM. These cars were absolute monsters on the drag strip, pulling wheelies right off the line and humiliating factory-backed HEMIs. They were so dominant that some racers even accused them of bending the rulebook. The legendary 1966 Comet Cyclone GT in superstock domination. By 1966, Mercury had solidified its reputation as a serious drag racing contender. The 1966 Comet Cyclone GT was a street-legal version inspired by the AFX drag cars. With a medium riser 427 V8, it was one of the fastest factory cars you could buy at the time. But the real legends were the fully built super stock race versions, featuring even lighter bodies and race-tuned engines. These cars were terrorizing HEMI-powered Mopars at the track, proving that Ford's 427 was just as much of a heavyweight as Chrysler's famous elephant motor. The end of an era, why the 427 Comets disappeared. Unfortunately, the factory-backed 427 Comets didn't last forever. By the late 60s, NHRA rules were changing, and the rise of funny cars and pro-stock machines meant that the factory experimental cars were becoming obsolete. At the same time, Ford was shifting its focus to the Mustang for racing, and Mercury's hardcore drag racing program was winding down. By 1968, Mercury had largely moved on from the lightweight Comets, focusing instead on larger-bodied muscle cars like the Cyclone in Torino. But the legacy of the 427 Comets lived on, cementing their place as some of the most underrated drag cars of the 1960s. The Comet 427 legacy, a forgotten muscle car hero. Today, the 427-powered Mercury Comets are some of the most sought-after and rarest muscle cars ever built. With only a handful of these factory drag cars still in existence, they've become legendary among Ford and drag racing enthusiasts. So, was the Mercury Comet the ultimate underdog of the muscle car era? Did it deserve more recognition as a true HEMI killer? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you love classic muscle cars and untold performance stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into automotive history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.